we have the FAA Reauthorization bill passed by Congress. And apparently we got a couple of wins for aviation labor. I want to get into some of the specifics. Now, this was kind of lagging for a while. Let's start right there. Didn't we have a problem kind of getting this over to the finish line? You're already laughing. You're not surprised with that question, are you?
No, I'm not. Actually, this is probably my fourth FAA reauthorization I've dealt with, and this is the least number of extensions I've had to encounter. I mean, the last one had it crossed multiple Congresses, so this is normal to have extensions. But actually, this one was relatively painless. If you're talking about just the delays, the process delays. But if you think about the content, what is in this bill. We had major wins for working people, for union members, including, something that, for example, the air traffic controllers, NAPCA, has been pushing for 20 years on, changing the way that FAA hires air traffic controllers, doing max hiring. That's a big win. We managed to fight off all of the bad pilot training or like retirement age things. We got really good, important standards for cabin air quality. So like the air that you're breathing when you're in an airplane, to make sure that air is safe. There's a really important language on foreign repair stations, like, more improvements to the oversight of how foreign repair stations are operating on U.S. aircraft. I mean, this is a labor bill. This is a really good labor bill.
Well, that's really good, especially when you mention the air traffic controllers. I know there's been a fight over that, and we've been lagging as far as getting more air traffic controllers up there. This bill, it sounds like it's obviously a step in the right direction. Is it enough right now, in your opinion, Greg?
Given the current state of Congress, I don't think we could have done much better. Given that we have this Republican House that is in complete disarray, and we have a very narrowly divided Senate, I think this is a pretty big win. And honestly, to me, it shows that like the only types of legislation that are truly bipartisan, the only types of legislation that are true that you could move no matter what the state of Congress is, are transportation bills. Last time we passed the FAA reauthorization, Republicans controlled the House and the Senate, and Donald Trump was in the White House, and it was a bill that we endorsed. We as transportation labor endorsed. And honestly, when we go into a bill negotiation and say, this is here are the safety reasons for doing X, Y, and Z, we generally win.
All right, Greg, let's move on to this executive committee meeting that happened a couple of weeks ago, and I see there's over 30 transportation labor leaders adopting policy goals for the rest of the year. And I know a lot of people say this is a do-nothing Congress, least productive probably since the Great Depression. Why don't you run down some of the goals? Obviously, you got a wish list here, and you got to try your best to make something happen. So talk to me about that. What would you like to accomplish here, Greg?
In transportation, and frankly, in the entire economy, we're dealing with a number of new, novel challenges, which is, technology is usually one of those things that it can be scary. But at the same time, we are able to, hopefully, if we can do it the right way, if we can introduce technology into our workplaces in the right way, then it actually supplements, it adds to our members' ability to do their jobs. So I think that's a really important theme for what we've tried to do in terms of what our policy asks are. So that's true with AI, that's true with automated vehicles, that's true with technology on the railroads. So in every case, we're looking at, we don't want to be the people who put their head in the sand and say, nope, technology is not coming. But that would be dumb. That would be a stupid thing for us to try to do. Say like, no, to plug the hole. So instead, we have to look at this as how could we have technology be an additive, be something that can help our members do their jobs more safely, more effectively, and not be something that replaces our members. So I think if you looked at all of our policy statements and the policy we're trying to adapt, I think that would be a common theme. Is how do we make sure that we can harness this incredible technology and do it in a way that will benefit people across the board.
Mm-hmm. I see one of these policy goals, federal regulations to protect workers against extreme temperatures.
Yeah.
And I don't know how AI plays into that, but I mean, we're seeing some crazy, crazy weather last year, record heat, especially in the Southwest and Texas. And, sadly, a lot of the states, especially in Texas, they don't give a damn about workers in the field. I mean, in fact, they've rejected them. So obviously, I guess the federal government has to take the lead on this. So if we can, boil this down, no pun intended, on protecting workers against extreme temperatures, I mean, is this something, will this become a priority here because of what's going on with the climate in America today, in your opinion?
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, Texas is one that, I was made aware of this problem by Congressman Greg Regan, who is from Texas, and he had a thirst strike on the steps of the U.S. Capitol last year. And he, Texas repealed a law that required thirst breaks, like basically required people to be able to have a water break on the job. And if you're a construction worker out there, or if you're working on the tarmac of an airport, that is life threatening. That's not something that is just like, oh, well, yeah, so-and-so needs to have a pee break or a water break. It is literally, what you need to do to be able to survive in your workplace. And so, I mean, these types of issues, unfortunately, are going to be more and more challenging as we have climate change issues. We have global warming. I mean, these are things that are basic to survival for workers, and whatever job you do, if you're outside, you need to be able to have things like water breaks. And whether you're a firefighter, if you're a ramp worker, if you're a construction worker, like these are basic needs. And I don't think that a lot of our local state governments or ordinances are actually up to task on this one.
Yeah, that's why the feds have to step in. Another issue I'm reading is the bridge collapse in Baltimore, and I see there's a policy statement demanding improved global safety standards for maritime shipping.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have standards here in the United States, but we're dealing with a global industry that seems to care less about worker safety. How do you see this one progressing, Greg?
Well, I mean, global standards are pretty much nil. And, if you think about the state of our global shipping right now, I mean, less than 2% of all of the cargo that moves in and out of U.S. ports is carried on U.S. flagged ships. So it's a global industry, and we are not a major player in it anymore, but we are a major economic player. And we are the ones who are moving the most goods throughout the world. So, not on our ships, but in general, like we are a huge consumer and we are a huge producer. So at that point, we need to figure out, how do we leverage that to create better standards? How do we leverage it to influence the industry across the world? And we're not doing that right now. I mean, we have a handful of policies that try to protect the little bit of U.S. shipping that we have right now, whether it be, cargo preference laws or the Maritime Security Program or the Jones Act. But, we can do more. We can do better.
Mm-hmm.